Hey Jesse, how you doing today?
Hey man, how we doing? Feeling pretty good.
I'm feeling good. I'm back from Detroit, so I'm feeling I had enough Detroit style pizza, and I'm ready to get back to gotchi business.
Well, that's good. Gotcha business is the best business, and right now, I'm feeling very gotchi, more gotchi than normal. So, uh, I don't know if you picked yours up at MCon, but I just woke up today feeling like a gotchi. So here we are.
Yeah, you're looking good, sir. You got the whole suit going, the hat. I like it.
Hell yeah, yeah, this is good. We can do this more often. So, welcome everybody to the show. We're here at the Alpha Hour with no future in the, I would say in the flesh, but in the gotchi. And myself, Golden Cross, here to hold it down. Over the next 30 or so minutes throughout this hour, we are going to be going through a bunch of the latest news in Aavegotchi. And we're going to have a lot of visual treats to go along with this. This new format kind of lets us share more visually that's going on with the game development, the different events we attend. Everything going on with Aavegotchi is just, it's so visual. So I think this new format is going to be pretty nice.
Yeah, I like being able to see, the gotchi, and then we'll be able to visualize and see what we're actually talking about. There's a lot of stuff that happened in the last week, so it's let's dive right in.
Yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing is the highlight that we'll be kind of uncovering this week is what happened at MCon. MCon was a major event in Detroit last week for crypto and particularly a lot of decentralized organizations and DAOs, just like Aavegotchi DAO. Who is the main sponsor? If you don't know MCon, you definitely know the main group behind it that organizes this every year.
Yeah, so the main group that organizes the Meta Cartel Grants Program, which they actually gave a funeral for while we were there. Like that's how the whole event kicked off. And then basically the biggest sponsors were us and then Eigenlayer. Eigenlayer provided coffee for everybody. I think Gitcoin was there as well. They had some representation from higher ups, which was interesting because we were able to access and talk to them. But yeah, Meta Cartel Grants Program was the big player behind it. And then, of smaller sponsors, but a bunch of them. They had some local food trucks, some other DAOs were involved. So just a cool DAO experience because we think of Aavegotchi and we think of the IP, but the DAO behind it is such a crucial part. So getting representation there and kind of branching out with other DAOs, asking and answering meaningful questions, I thought was very, very cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, we're going to get into your hot takes on like the whole experience and what Aavegotchi DAO brought to the table. I understand we have our arcade machine there. First time that the physical kind of tangible gaming setup has been provided. So that's a big development. Curious how that was received and how did it go? And then also we were on some panels and doing some thought leadership, right? So I believe it might have been Light Piglet, one of the more active Aavegotchi DAO members, who was on stage and answering some tricky questions and sharing some insights. So this is kind of a good prompt for the whole audience, everybody tuning in. We'd love your answers to this question. But the question that was asked to Light Piglet at MCon was, how can DAOs help with the future of Web3 gaming? And so this was a question that was at the top of mind throughout the event. We were there as a DAO, but also as a Web3 gaming platform. And so this is the big question at hand. So to you, like, why do DAOs in gaming have an overlay? And, maybe you can share a bit about what Light Piglet's answer was and what he focused on, but there's obviously more than one answer to this question. So we'd love to hear from you guys watching the show and get your thoughts on what you see as, the nexus of DAOs and gaming.
Yeah, I think it's community. Like from a personal perspective, being at MCon, we were able to watch people come over and interact with the arcade machine, with our dev there, with White Ranger there, and get feedback and iterate and feedback and iterate. And that, like with DAOs, that should be kind of a goal there where we're building together, we're moving together and we'll get further. So community, like you went into positions about guilds, like the idea of guilds being necessary. Yeah, it was a very interesting conversation because we also had Games GG, I think, no, Game 7 DAO was up there talking gaming as well. But I would like simplify it down to community, basically. That overlap of governance, but also like the entertainment value that's involved with gaming, they blend well together, and it gives us this chance to build something that we all enjoy and like work out together, like, and have a meaningful active part in.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I see some comments coming in here on the side. People saying, first of all, the 3D gotchis look good. Thank you. I'm smiling over here. But also T-Bird answers with one word: transparency. I think that is that says a lot with a single word. And when you're on a DAO, so much of the information and the treasury and decision making happens on chain that it is very transparent. It's a public blockchain, public ledger, making decisions. So in that sense, DAOs are a perfect fit for solving some of the problems and pain points people experience with gaming, right? Like you have more control over where priorities go in your gaming ecosystem. So right off the bat, transparency is key if you're going to try to do that. We're going to be very transparent and hear from some of the people that were on the ground with you, No Future. Now, No Future was there. I was not able to attend, but we are bringing in some other people. Well, today we'll bring in one person that also attended, and that's TK. So in a little bit, stick around. We're going to be hearing from TK. She was at the event in Detroit, very hands-on, helping everything from setting things up to, I think, managing the booth, to perhaps a lot more. So we'll hear from TK here soon and get to know her thoughts on how IMCON went and the state of Aavegotchi DAO and how that whole week went with everybody together in real life. But first, maybe, No Future, do you want to run us through what we'd like to do at the beginning of these shows is kind of do a run through of all the headlines, the stuff that's happening in the Gotchiverse and beyond right now. So everybody can be caught up, get your daily dose of alpha, or at least your weekly highlights. And then we'll go into a deep dive with TK. We'll get TK up here in a few minutes.
Yeah, sure. Trying to read stuff off while also being here, so I don't want to twist too much. But yeah, we had some new gifts hit our Giftly setup, our repository. So now on Twitter, you can go and check out some new gifts, special ones, one for October, so you can definitely check that out. There's a new Gotchi U video that came out. Find your first Gotchi, a nice guide for you to go through if you're looking and trying to get into the ecosystem with Geist coming up and everything that we have going on. Currently, we have Pixelcraft's funding proposal. It is live. We had a couple snafus, like getting that up initially, where I think the voting power was off on Snapshot, but we adjusted and it is up. I have to go remember to actually vote. I haven't touched my ledger in a little bit. Coder Dan had to talk with Huda from Crypto Slam. You can find that on the main account and also on Coder Dan's account. Yeah. Crypto Slam is one of those peeps I remember I was trying to actually get in contact with through my own setups. And like, Coder Dan has already been talking with them. But it'd be great to get Ghost and our assets listed, like in their talks and whatnot when they're doing recaps. So that's pretty much the news coming from our side. And Jesse, is there anything else that I missed?
No, I think that was a pretty good overview. And the new gifts, we're going to be getting more of those sooner, I think on a weekly drip now. So pretty soon here, we'll have an awesome collection of all the different gifts. And they're going to be hopefully something that they're so charming that people that don't even know Aavegotchi will still enjoy using them. I think we got a good chance with that. I love that cooking gif. So yeah, the new Gotchi U videos are very useful for sharing with friends as we get ready for Geist to go live. We're just a few weeks away from Geist going live. And with that new layer 3, it's going to be a UX turnaround where people are able to log in with socials, instantly spin up a wallet, start playing Aavegotchi games. And there's also I'm hearing rumors of a certain campaign that will be announced soon to kick it off. This is the alpha hour. So we'll just say, we do have more coming, more ways to get new people involved, and those Gotchi U videos will be very, very helpful for anybody that's new to Aavegotchi. I think there's about 3 new episodes right now that you can go check, in addition to all the legacy content on our YouTube channel. So highly recommend everybody to go check out our YouTube and yeah, get acquainted and share those videos whenever somebody new is coming into Web3 or crypto gaming. So yeah, good coverage there. And I would also just concur. Crypto Slam, it's awesome that him and Coder Dan got to chat this week. That's always good stuff.
Yeah, I actually pulled up the funding renewal proposal for Pixelcraft, so I can just give a little bit more information. I didn't have it in front of me. Voting began October 1st, so yesterday at 9:18 a.m. for me, and it ends October 12th at 10:59 a.m. So a little over 11 days, friends. So make sure to get your votes in. Currently, we're sitting at 2.7 million ghosts, or 91.54% in favor to fund Pixelcraft, with 251K ghosts, or 8.46% opposed, and it's quorum is 9 million. We have to 6 million of the 9 million, so make sure you go out and vote. I got to do the same, and participate in the DAO.
Yeah, that's great. That's good news. I like what I'm seeing. So very, very bullish on the DAO and the voting. Now let's talk to somebody special who knows more about what was happening on the ground at MCon. So No Future, you want to give a little introduction to our friend, and we'll get TK up on stage.
Yes. Okay. This is TK. She was the wrecker of most people in the Gotchi Battleverse arena. We got in the clip from MCon. You actually see her beating White Ranger, the creator of the game, which is always fun. I got to do that once. She is very helpful. OG Gotchi gang. We actually met her, I believe, in 2021 when me, you, Big Flex, the whole Gotchi team met up in New York for NFT NYC, and she was an instrumental part of the trip, helping us both at the booth and then just organizing and getting things going for our daily routine of waking up and getting ready to hit the road and do the work. So TK, good morning or good afternoon. I think we're in the same time zone, so good morning. But I hope you're having a great day. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, it's afternoon here, but that just means I had time to wake up and have coffee. So good time for me actually to be here. Yeah, super excited to talk about what we had going on at MCon in Detroit. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And yeah, just a second what No Future said, I think this is the first time the three of us are all together chit-chatting since New York all those years ago. So TK, super OG, you've been helping and well, you've just been a big contributor to the Aavegotchi space for literally years now, super OG. So, I didn't get to attend MCon this year. I wanted to, and I feel like I missed out on a lot. No Future had great coverage. He was live streaming a lot of stuff throughout the day, each day. But what about you? First of all, how was the journey to get there? I don't think you're from Detroit. So how was the journey? And in a nutshell, was it worth it?
The drive was great. We did drive all the way from where we are, which is 4 hours north of Toronto there. So 9-hour drive, but it was nice and smooth. We were really excited the whole way down to get there and to meet some OG Gotchi gang members in real life. And yeah, it was great from the time that we arrived until the time that we left. And we were sad to leave. Honestly, it was just so nice to be with some people that are really, Gotchi gang and chat with everybody. So yeah, it was a great trip from beginning to end.
That's awesome. And No Future, you were also there. So how early on did you meet up with TK? And would you agree with her assessment? It was generally a success and a good time.
Yeah, day one, basically. I think I got there just a couple hours, maybe an hour before her and Goobs arrived. And yeah, I remember, we had such a good time in 2021. And if you've ever been to a Gotchi Greeters or an Aavegotchi IRL event, it's just all love because we're in the same tribe and we have a lot of fun together. So we were comparing each other's Gotchis, talking about where we land on the BRS, strategies for rarity, talking about the games and going in on strategy for Gotchi Battler. It's just an amazing vibe. And yeah, mixing it in with MCon where it's more of a, at other conventions, it's more it feels much more shilly, where this was much more driven towards DAOs and the discussion. But us being a DAO, it was, same thing like Pizza DAO. You're there and you're just able to ingratiate yourself with these communities. And TK was an integral part of that. Like when we were at the arcade trying to rustle people in to do raffle tickets because people were shy, she was out there, she was doing it. And it's such a helpful part of a team to have someone who's able to get things started like that without really being prompted. They just do it on their own. So it was a pleasure to work with her, and MCon was a vibe, and just a great conference in terms of getting to know other DAOs and then spreading the gotchi gospel.
So
yeah, 100% agree with all of that.
I bet you helped a lot to just get people engaged and out of their shells and have some fun and connect with each other. So, and speaking about this arcade machine, I mean, that was a highlight of what we brought to the event. And how did that work? There was some setup, and then like TK, were you was it next to our booth? Was it in its own area? And we kind of had somebody volunteering to like manage the arcade booth and guide people to onboard. Was that you or both of you? What was that like?
Well, I seriously have to give so much credit to the guys, because every single day, they had to bring in the polycade piece by piece, set it up. A lot of manual labor went into getting the polycade. The first day we were upstairs. It was a dual level venue, so the first day we were upstairs, so they had to carry all the materials up the stairs. I was there for moral support and supervision. No. But they had to bring it up the stairs, set it up, and then we kind of all grouped around the polycade to entice others to come and play the game. So we took turns playing the game together to kind of show gameplay as people were walking by to see what it was, what was happening with it, which was a great draw in. I think just having us all there playing the game and engaging with others who were walking past to kind of bring them in, that was a great strategy that we found. Everyone, was interested, and then we would notice and they would come and play because we had already been playing. It was really cool to have the leaderboard set up on top of the polycade machine itself, so you could see all the wallets and where they ranked on the leaderboard. So you'd have people coming back to play again and again to kind of get up the leaderboard. So that was a really great draw too, because everybody wants to be on top of a leaderboard, which we know, being Gotchi Gang, you want to be top of the leaderboard. So everybody was really getting into the spirit of that, and it was great. Second day was a little easier. We had a little spot on the main floor there, right by the main doors, where everyone was coming in and out. So I'd say both days we had a lot of really great engagement with the machine. Again, we had our polycade event at the Checker Bar in Detroit. Great event, but again, it was up 3 flights of stairs at least. So really got to hand it to the guys. They did an amazing job setting up the machine, and I think people really did appreciate the work that went into it and having it there. It was a great addition, I think, to MCon, to have something interactive there. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like it was probably one of the more popular, noticeable things at the event, right? Like I doubt anybody else was bringing something quite that interactive to the event outside,
No.
stores, right? So
it was us and coffee. That was it. We just had to compete with the coffee, and the coffee was good, but people liked us. It was interesting too, because we ran more than one game. We were running for the first day, like the second day more so, the leaderboard competition for the Gotchi Battler game, White Rangers game. So he would be there, he's there literally writing code and updating stuff. The first day was like, initially we had to actually fix the machine to make sure that we can get the leaderboard. Some of us just want to abandon the leaderboard because it's just, like an ancillary piece to everything. But White Ranger got it to work with Light Piglet, and we made it work. And then funneling people into the competition, onboarding them, showing them how to get in with Ghost, and not Ghost, with Glitter, but also like iterating and noticing some people just didn't want to do all the crypto stuff. So like setting up a pass button where you can just hit P and the game can start. And then once we did that, a lot of people were playing the game and really into it. But having the dev there, being able to deploy stuff to mix it between that worked well. So it gave us good insight into onboarding and gaming, like what people generally want and how like to try to provide a more frictionless experience for them to get to the game, but also find interest in the IP.
Well, I mean, that right there is the key. Everybody wants to have a good time, connect, celebrate, enjoy, but ultimately we're there to share knowledge. And this seems like, kind of like Piglet said, low noise, high signal potential. So we can talk with other groups that are organizing in similar ways, and there's more than one way to do a DAO. So in terms of lessons learned there, things we actually learned either from our own actions or from talking with others, maybe each of you can share one. And No Future, you just mentioned like the onboarding for the actual arcade machine. What was the lesson there? Is like, don't use a blockchain, or just we have to get social login, or people aren't willing to put in information before playing a game and trying it out? What was the takeaway?
Yeah, I feel like it's social login. Like people aren't the people that are wallet savvy, they were fine. They just got in, they were able to do it. We had a faucet that they can hit. People who are less savvy, like I'll call them like Web 2.2, like they're buying and selling on Coinbase and still using Robinhood. They don't self-custody, stuff like that. They were interested, but they wanted like something simple, like a tap, like, Cash App, where they can have like, Cash App or even Apple Pay to interact with that leaderboard. They were interested in playing and they wanted the leaderboard, so they were willing to follow down that rabbit hole. But if it was like, if the learning curve became too steep, then it turned them away.
Is that kind of what you saw too, TK?
Definitely. Actually, I was going to mention how awesome you had brought it up earlier, but how awesome it is to have the Gotchi U videos now, some of them up, because I was actually referring a lot to them because I found that, of course, our attention spans just as humans have decreased significantly with this instant access that we have now over social media or with using AI. We just have instant access to so much. People don't often want to spend any more time than necessary to learn something or to digest some information. So having the Gotcha U videos was something that I found was really helpful because I saw how quickly it was, how quickly we were able to get people in to play the game. And it's a quick game, back and forth, and they were really excited by that. And then to describe Aavegotchi in of itself all at once is super overwhelming. So being able to refer them, say, this video shows you this video shows you that, that's a great place to start. And if you find something interesting, here's where you can find more information and dive a little bit deeper. So I found that was really helpful. But yeah, I did definitely learn too that a lot of people were very surprised at how much our DAO is able to accomplish. We heard it was a very DAO central convention. And I heard a lot of people saying, oh, DAOs don't really get a lot done. And then here we are showing up with a team that's funded by a DAO, with a machine, a whole arcade machine funded by a DAO. This whole experience was because of the DAO. So it was really interesting to see just how shocked a couple people were by how much our DAO is getting done, because a lot of people didn't think that that was possible. So that was great. That's really nice to be part of that.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words, right? So that is pretty good. In terms of any other hot topics at the event or things we learned from other DAOs that are doing things right, is there anything you walked away being like, oh, we should be doing that over at Aavegotchi DAO? Like we could take some notes from whatever A, B, or C. Was there anything like that where you came away with something you hadn't really considered before? Maybe it's the way another DAO is organizing their voting or their own decision-making processes, or was there anything like that?
Well, I'd say
for both of you.
Yeah, I'd say there are two things I took away. One of them is just more the meta cartel vibe of trusting each other, like the community, and being able to, like, they don't limit or at one point they weren't limiting their funding. They would like fund people's ideas, like, because they want to see what comes out of it and build, understanding people will fail, but good faith efforts are always like appreciated. And the second thing was just more so like about DAOs and like general governance, but like the way we approach and try to handle the gaming aspects of things. Like we like trying to promote the DAO in ways like we are currently, like we were just talking about the idea of like us showing and telling people how we do things, just doubling down on that and continuing to do that, because you don't see that in many other DAOs. A lot of the other DAOs tend to be a little quieter and less reserved, but we're here supporting gaming, which is a very visual thing. It needs to be out there more. So I feel like that dichotomy to me kind of like struck like, okay, yeah, like there's a healthy balance to these two things.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the first point's also very interesting. What you were saying is like um, they are a little less strict with the purse. Like they have experimental kind of funding for small experiments, something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, think of a good example would be the gentleman Gotchi who wanted to sponsor like a bike tour. It was like $2,000. We had this happen. I forgot his name, network builder, something like that. Gotchi gang member. It got shot down. It was a small ask, but with that, I think there was value there. We can argue if there, how big the value is from it, but like, be willing to experiment. It's not like we're taking a big, huge chunk of the of the of the pie basically and letting people try stuff, like just little things. So it was like seeing more of that in action. I don't know how successful it is, but it seems like a cool idea.
Yeah, worth pointing out. That's definitely like something done a little differently, and worth noting that. And like, obviously, you're gonna have some hits and misses, but that is a pretty good example of like something where you don't know. Like sometimes you just support somebody who's passionate early on, and not every time but sometimes that just snowballs into like really big things. So it's a bit of like knowing who is active in the community, having that trust and reputation, and then like I don't want to say investing in, but just like supporting kind of without too many strings attached certain projects or ideas. We're talking in the abstract here, but generally as a principle, that's really nice to see and really, really cool. TK, any other thoughts on this? Like lessons learned, interesting points from other people at this convention, Meta Cartel, all that good stuff.
I think my biggest takeaway, honestly, from this entire experience is just how important, even though we're in this autonomous Web3 space, how important it still is to have these IRL events because of how much information was able to be shared between so many people and how interested people were when they were able to be hands-on with something like the Polycade, and how many opportunities we had to network with some really incredible people and answer questions there on the spot, and just to meet people face to face in the space was really great. It also does help with that, that issue of who do you trust in the space. Well, when you meet somebody and you kind of get to a feel of them face to face at an event like this, you're more likely to want to collab with one person over the other because you've already met somebody at an event like this. So I just took away how important it was to be present and have a presence, especially as a team like this at these IRL events. It was really great to see like Piglet up there and his session, talking about our DAO, the gaming side of it. And a lot of people were very interested. We have a lot of stuff going on that a lot of people didn't know about, like asset sharing. They didn't know about asset sharing and how to do that. And, we've already figured that out. So it was really, really important for us to be there, I thought. And so that was my biggest takeaway, is how important our presence was at the event in real life.
Yeah, good point. And like Game 7 DAO having a big presence there as well. Those guys, that whole group is very, very much, I would say, leading the way in a lot of ways in the gaming, crypto gaming area right now. Like they're having a great year, lots of momentum, doing a lot of big projects. So I hope, Aavegotchi DAO members were able to coordinate and meet up with some of them. That's going to be, I think, key going into this next cycle, is like the more we're all networked and helping each other, the more successful, the more chances these games have to see more light and get more people to try them out. So the games have to ultimately speak for themselves, but we can do a lot to help get the games in front of people that can help amplify it. So yeah, great networking, tons to do there. In terms of like the audience, we do have a live audience here, so I want to open it up for questions. If you have questions for TK, No Future, or myself, anything related to the MCon event, we'll push those up first. And then if there's other questions, maybe not necessarily MCon related, we might handle some of those too. So we're heading into the Q&A section. You are absolutely welcome to ask us some questions. And while we wait for any questions to come in from the audience, I guess we can refer back to the original prompt I mentioned at the beginning, which is, how can DAOs help with the future of Web3 gaming? And, for we saw Light Piglet answer this on the panel. But TK, what's your kind of takeaway? Do you see like more opportunity for DAOs and gaming to play together, or not really after this ImCon event?
Definitely. I think guilds were a big topic as far as the gaming space, getting guilds, involved, building up that idea of small community groups, playing together as a team. That's a very building experience. It's nice to be connected in a space where you can sometimes feel kind of alone because, of course, it is so. Like I said, autonomous. So it's nice to have a little community that you can go and raid and games with. And I think DAOs and the idea of guilds were very heavily, talked about when we were talking about Web3 gaming. Another thing that Gotchi's doing really well is building guilds and having that kind of flourish in the space. I think is going to really help with wanting to play Web3 games that you can play as a team.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that also with the Gotchiverse coming up, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for, you can call it a guild or like factions, but these ways where we can organize and kind of, yeah, like friend circles almost, get together with, our closest friends in a virtual space, in a crypto space. But real quick, TK, while we're here, do you have any guilds or factions that you're a part of already, especially Gotchi related? Are you part of what is it, the Gotchi Poker Group or any of these others? The Mafia? Are you in the Mafia?
Yeah, Gotchi Mafia. Yeah, 100% Gotchi Mafia since the beginning. Since we were having little poker nights together at the very beginning of the guild, still a part of it, and I'm excited to see what the future holds with everybody's guild. But yeah, Gotchi Mafia all the way.
There we go. All right, we're gonna start building our guilds here, shilling for our guilds. So Gotchi Mafia, you can hang out with TK and the whole gang, the whole mafia. Now, what about No Future? I think you're also in a guild or two.
Yeah, I was my own guild for a long time. I was doing so many channelings. I guess I still am. I still channel 10 gotchis. Yeah, I'm not guild affiliated at this point, other than Music City Gotchi Gang, which is just me. But yeah, there's like the importance of guilds was like paramount. Like even just talking on a micro kind of level, like Piglet was talking about him and his friends gaming and competitions together, and they basically will loan to each other via multi-sig, and just this interesting dynamic of like the family unit as a guild. And in Web3 gaming, depending on the model, play to earn seems dead, play to win, play to own seem like or pay to own also seems like a working model. But just breaking it down to that micro level, like a guild can be as small as you and a couple friends who want to just play dropped. I saw a question also from Midnight Ghost. What was the most played gotchi game at MCon? That game, I believe, was probably the White Ranger game. That one, the Battleverse, because we were running a competition. I played a lot of Zygo's game, Grid Gladiator. That one was turned down for funding. I wish people would reconsider that because the game is actually a lot of fun and it utilizes the IP. The Web3 elements aren't really there, so people were able to walk up and just kind of play it. We were able to get dropped up for a while. We played a little bit of that, and then I don't think Stratagotchi, I think that game is down right now. Gotchi Battler, we played some some recap videos of some of the matches that we can get our hands on, and then the simulator, I believe. And then we've loaded up SFA and Gotchi Guardians, but it was mostly focused on the leaderboard competition because there were prizes associated, and we were trying to flex the on-chain elements of, hey, come over here, scan this QR code, and now like I put out a video showing it, like being able to run through the whole thing and get right to the game. So that was kind of like more the goal. So that ended up being played mostly.
That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds like about what I expected. I knew there was a tournament around the Battler game, and that game, I guess, is kind of built natively for the arcade. Like they were developed at the same time by White Ranger and his team, right? So they've done a great job with that, and I can't wait to go hands-on with it. And what about you, TK? What were you personally playing the most? Did you get some playtime in on a couple different games, or all Battler?
Yeah, I appreciate that No Future brought up my victory against White Ranger in the Battleverse. However, I will say that I do think that there is a little bit of holdback on the part of White Ranger. He wasn't moving as fast as he was with other people. So it did feel good to get the win, but I'm definitely going to be practicing more so I can, win fair and square. It was super fun, though. I will say a lot of people were just coming back to play it because they really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. You think he might be taking it easy on you, huh? Not what a gentleman. Very cool. Well, yeah, and I keep mixing them up. We have so many games in the Aavegotchi library now. So it's called Battleverse, right? That's the right name for that game. And that's the game that is being played the most. There also is Aavegotchi Battler, right? Which is tied into rarity farming. And that's more of the idle battle game. So, for being peace-loving ghosts, we do have quite a few games with the word battle in the title. Now, let's see. Do we have any other questions from the audience? We've got Brills from one of the guilds listening in. He shouts out, yeah, definitely in support of more guilds. You got to get those lodges in the Gotchiverse so you can start having that kind of nuclear family unit, grow it as large as you want into a full-blown guild. Those lodges are coming to the 3D Gotchiverse when Geist goes live, shortly thereafter anyway. And so happy to see more guilds shouting out in the chats here. I see Gotchi Battler in the house. That's awesome. So Gotchi Battler, that's probably glad I made the distinction there. We've got Gotchi Battler, an excellent game. It gives out probably more prizes than just about any other game right now. And then the Gotchi Battleverse, which is the new game that was just played on the arcade units. So I guess that brings us to kind of, well, we're getting close to the end of the show here, actually. We're actually running a little over the expected time. So we could do a little round table here, a little firing round of just closing thoughts, especially MCon and no future. What's the next event you're going to be going to, and what do you hope you carry with you from the MCon and take it with you going forward?
Yeah, the next event most likely will be Art Basel, which will be great. I think I'm going to miss MCon because Detroit was a very chill city where Miami's going to be lit on fire, which is a lot of fun, but very, very busy. So just moving forward, just efficiency. That's always the model I'm chasing. I felt like this trip was one of the more efficient Gotchi greeters trip. Like we just had everything down to a T. There wasn't, we had it planned very well. So it's just continuing that track of continuously iterating and getting better and better and faster at what we do. Because that's, kind of our goal here as we evolve with the DAO.
Well said. And kudos to everybody that helped make it run so efficiently. And just, you guys are getting pretty good at this. Been doing a lot of live events. And the Gotchi Greetors, if anyone listening isn't sure what that is a DAO-funded, call it a guild, call it a faction. It's a DAO-funded team that is specifically dedicated to making sure Gotchi Gang can show up, man booths, and lead at these different events. Not just in North America, but I think primarily so far, that's where most of the Greeters have been. I think Greeters has supported a number of events, though, in Europe and Asia as well. So really, really worldwide. And TK, the Greeters is one of the reasons we were able to get you there as well, right? And make sure that we had the boots on the ground, so to speak.
Yeah, super, super thankful. Extremely grateful. I had a great time. I met some great people. Actually, I made some new friends in the space. We met some OG Gotchi holders at the Checker Bar event. They showed up. They didn't know that we were going to be there. They're just going to MCon, and then they saw Aavegotchi, and then they came to our event. So it was kind of cool to meet some more OG members of the Gotchi gang. Just showing up to the events and making new friends in the space. That was great, and I'm hopeful that maybe I can go to Miami in December. So that would be a great event to go and check out and help out with. But yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't realize. So that's always the most satisfying when you're like at an event or out and about, and like somebody who wasn't necessarily planning to attend for Aavegotchi is like, oh my gosh, I've got some Aavegotchis. I've got some this or that. I got some ghost token. So sounds like you guys bumped into some OGs there, and that's awesome. That's always the best. Well, very, very cool. I'm really enjoying this new format. I like my gotchi suit. No future. Maybe next week we'll be doing this again. And I think next week, be on the lookout, but we're probably going to be showing a lot of visual content during the stream of a lot of first looks at a lot of the development that's been going on for the Gotchiverse. So this is a really cool format for us to easily share development of the various games. We may also have some Gotchi Guardians news next week. There's a big Gotchi Guardians release coming up. So make sure to follow us on X and just bookmark this time, because every week we're going to meet here, and we're either going to be, like we did today, going through some key IRL events, big DAO votes, or actually like meeting some of the guys and girls, everybody building in this space. And so I think right now we're debating between a Gotchi Guardians themed week next week or some more Gotchiverse alpha. But either way, we almost have a problem of too much to share. So we'll have to just do these more often. And so special thanks to TK for joining us today and all the work you did in Detroit. And No Future, as always, a great co-host. You're looking good in that Gotchi suit. And we'll see you all here next week. And I guess, No Future, any final thoughts or other reminders, calls to action?
Yeah, we have a round 4 snapshot for rarity farming that's happening this Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Not Pacific, UTC. That is the main thing that I can think of. Just stay tuned and get your gotchis dressed up and ready for that final party.
Good call out. Very important. Rarity farming in full effect. And we'll, of course, also see you guys Saturday in the Discord. I think it's going to be a good one. We have a special, unannounced, unconfirmed, unrevealed guest for the Saturday hangout, 2 p.m. UTC this Saturday. So if you're able to hop in and join us in the Discord this Saturday, that will also be very alpha packed with a very special guest. So with all of that covered, the past and the upcoming, I hope this was a alpha packed hour for you. And we will see you again in the Gotchiverse very soon. Bye, everybody.